The highly anticipated, biggest ever content drop to ever grace Call of Duty content was December 16th, and we got it in Call of Duty's Warzone. Now, a lot of us, including myself, were very anxious and worried to see how things are going to play out and how things would integrate over to Warzone because Call of Duty Black Ops is such a different feel. But I think we got one of the better outcomes that we could have gotten from this integration. Activision had provided us with a blog in early December outlining particularly how the Battle Pass and experience systems would integrate between the three games, how that would work. But we had a lot of things that were still kind of left unsaid or things that were glossed over in a way that didn't leave us thinking that this is going to be a smooth transition. Not to get too negative, but I just felt that this was kind of how the community felt going into this. Now, with all that being said, with approximately a week under our belts here, I want to try and make a video, take it as a first impressions video of how the integration of Black Ops Cold War is doing inside of Warzone, and we're going to break this thing down like this. This is a compliment sandwich, where we're going to talk about the things we like about the Warzone update, then about the things we don't like about the Warzone update, particularly the times that Warzone shows up to class late and forgets to do the homework and interrupts the teacher at weird times. But we want to end things off on things that we like about the Warzone update overall. To start things off, let's talk about some of the weapons. Just the sheer amount of weapons we saw come into the game, somewhere around 30, is huge for a game like this. A lot of players just want to see some variety. A lot of players want to see guns that are good enough that can compete with other guns that might be considered meta, and having 30 additional guns come into the sandbox is a huge addition. And now that they're already there, we're just waiting for some tunings, waiting to see kind of what settles in, what needs to be buffed, what needs to be adjusted. We're already seeing guns like the MAC-10 or the M16 or the DMR taking over some of these loadouts. So it's nice. It's refreshing. And I think overall, that was a really good job bringing those into the game. Now, Rebirth Island, the new Warzone map, was teased to us for quite some time. We've had leakers telling us that this was going to be Alcatraz from Blackout for a very long time, so we kind of had an idea what we were getting ourselves into. But overall, I'd like to say I like the map. If you're an aggressive player, drop dead center of the map. Fight it to the death there like you would in Superstore. If you like to slow roll your matches, drop on the edges. Go loot some buildings. Go find guns that you like. Wait for your loadout. It has good variety. There's high ground, there's low ground, there's an abundance of vehicles. The buildings, they're expansive and they're a little different from what we're used to in the current Warzone game. Overall, it's nice. It's a nice change of pace. I think they did a good job. Now, I know it's not the 150-person map that we were all waiting for, but I think we can wait in the meantime and sink our teeth into this. Around the 1 year mark, we should be seeing that new 150-person map, I would expect. Moving on to the Battle Pass and the store bundles and the weapon blueprints, the cosmetic items, I have to say, I think they really hit the nail on the head this time, and I thoroughly enjoy most of what we have there. I'm looking forward to getting to level 100 on my Battle Pass and seeing what's going on further from there. And this one right here is what we're going to be rocking with all season long. Mwah! This one right here, the Lil Bane operator skin, we're going to be tearing it up in Verdansk, looking like this badass all season long. Moving on to some of the more interesting complaints in regards to the game. Now, for me, I'm going to kind of rifle off some of these things and just touch on and expand on them as I go along, but here we go. The tints in the menu screens when building your guns is a little weird. I don't know if it's just me or if anybody else thinks that, but I had a few of my friends comment on this as well. Having kind of like a red tint for Black Ops and a blue tint for Modern Warfare felt a little weird. We already got like the logos at the top to let us know what we're dealing with, so it just felt like kind of a weird kiddish thing to do. Some of the weapon performances were a little wonky for me. I know it's going to take time to get used to it, especially if you're somebody that hasn't played Black Ops yet. The weapons kind of move differently, look a little bit differently when you're holding them. But for me, the one that was kind of obnoxious and a little jarring was the sniper rifles. I know that this is how it is in Black Ops, but I am not a fan of this at all. It kind of looks like you're wrapping the weapon around and bringing it up to your eye socket, and it's really hard to like identify an object and then zoom into it without having almost to like readjust your vision, it feels. So I don't know if this is for everybody. This was something that I found a lot just as I've become a little bit more comfortable with snipers. But yeah, I really didn't like that. Staying on the topic with attachments, and credit to Raven Software for making some adjustments to this very quickly, but at launch for this integration, we didn't really have like continuity or consistency with some of the weapon attachments. For example, if you were to look at a monolithic suppressor from a modern warfare weapon, you'd get additional benefits to your sound suppression like damage range. What would end up happening with Black Ops weapons is you only got the sound suppression. So in a way, it felt like a dead element or a dead perk, and you wouldn't want to use it just to have that one aspect. It would have been nicer at launch to see that stuff integrated where suppressors worked the same on both kinds of weapons from Modern Warfare and from Black Ops. And I know that this is kind of an issue with a few other things. Some of the grip tapes, they have added benefits of being able to drop shot without it affecting your animation. And again, this is more of a Black Ops issue where drop shotting is kind of sort of eliminated from the game unless you equip a grip tape that helps you do it in a more consistent fluid motion. So again, if you were to throw that grip tape into what we have here in Warzone, it literally does nothing and it's a dead perk. And I feel like those are things that were maybe overseen that could have been dealt with prior to this game launching this integration. I think we can all understand that when we have a game come out like this, where we have a 20 gigabyte update or a 20 gigabyte integration, we're going to have a lot of glitches. We're going to have a lot of bugs. We're going to have a lot of stuff we're going to have to work through. And to me, it's kind of the cost of doing business. But can somebody explain to me how the stim glitch keeps coming back update after update after update? This has got to be the third or fourth time we had to deal with a stim glitch in the game. Not to mention that there were invisible people running around Verdansk, which I feel like should be the more annoying thing, but for me, the more understandable thing to happen, right? That's like an unforeseen thing that maybe there wasn't enough testing being done, but to have a stim glitch, which we've had fixes to numerous times reappear, is beyond annoying and beyond, in my opinion, unacceptable. And to top all of this off, how did we not get a meta change? How did we not get balancing to our current weapons? I just don't get it. We launched into this integration with the R9 almost feeling to be still the top tier option as a secondary. The Kilo was being used by just about everybody. Nothing got adjusted to the Kilo. These were a lot of complaints that people were having, saying, we want to see an adjustment in the meta. Please give that to us. We don't want to be annihilated by a fire-breathing shotgun every time we enter a building. And for some reason, that wasn't addressed up front. Now, I will say a lot of these issues have been already resolved mostly. Raven Software has done so much for Warzone and has helped reinstill some trust that I know I didn't have. Infinity Ward did such a terrible job with informing its community of when things were coming and to what degree they were changing things that it almost felt like they really didn't care, like it was an afterthought. And that's why these things really annoy the crap out of me and definitely annoyed the crap out of others. I just don't get how a game ships like that. When you integrate something, when you're building to it, and then that's the final product. I understand working from home is probably what's happening right now with a lot of these developers, and it's probably not the most ideal way to launch a game, and I totally understand that. But when you have the higher-ups of Activision and the guys running Call of Duty on conference calls saying how much money this particular game is making, this free game experience that's causing them to see all these gigantic revenue gains that they've never seen before, and to have this kind of stuff launch like this, I don't get it. I really don't. I'm always at a loss for words when this kind of stuff happens. Hire more people, have more realistic deadlines, but don't go on conference calls touting how much money you're making to your shareholders and then feed us this. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. It is super annoying, and I'm sure a lot of the community shares that same sentiment, where it just feels unacceptable. Now, to bring this right back around, I want to finish this off by saying I think the update overall was positive. I think we got a lot of good things that came out of this, and I think this is a great starting point for things to come. I had a lot of fun with my friends playing. Although we ran into some minor issues, I think that with Raven Software in the driver's seat of Warzone, I think we're going to be in better hands just from the launch week response from them. I am super appreciative of it, and I believe that we're going to get a better response than we did in our previous year of Warzone. I just want to say thank you to everybody for the positive comments, for reaching out, for giving me criticisms to work on in the future on these videos. I hope I'm doing that some justice here. I'm going to continue to try and get better and polish this up a little bit more. But for now, just a massive thank you to you guys and much respect. If you're a person that frequents Twitch, if you're a person that frequents Twitter, please consider going down into the description of this video and giving my stuff a follow. Feel free just to say hi, to drop in, to kind of see how we're doing. It's been fun talking to you guys in real time and just kind of like seeing how everybody's day's going, how they're liking the updates, things like that. And it'd be even cool to try and get some games going with some of the people in the chat. So feel free to drop in, ask to play, and yeah, let's get that going. But that's it, everybody. Thank you if you made it to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. And hopefully I will see you on the next one. Peace.